been made in Canadian basketball.
One hand down, all over the defense. One hand cockback.
Oh! Bringing the fans to their feet, putting a man in the rim.
Ain't that awesome? Oh my Lord!
Welcome to the NPA on NPH.
We're back live. The battle in the Capitol. Game 2. Day number 3.
That's right.
Game number 9. Crestwood Preparatory taking on BC Christian Prep out of Port Coquitlam, British Columbia. Jason Tom here alongside Elias Sabet. I heard Tarek and Elias held it down in game number 1.
It was a solid game for GTA Prep. I know they had to play without AJ Lawson, but they got it done without him. You had DeAndre Pierre step up big, both assists and scoring. He finished with 9 assists in the game. And Hafeen Moellen, who I was talking to Tarek about, I think is the most under-the-radar player in the league. As a point guard, there hasn't been anybody that has displayed as strong of a ball handling ability and ability to create space and separate from his defender. So I think you sport coaches that are looking for a full-time PG have to consider a kid like Moellen.
Hafeen was incredibly impressive in our first stream of the season and has continued that strong play. Tipping it up. Crestwood. The Lions versus the Panthers. And we expect a battle. Didn't take long for a little.
Everybody knows who's the king of the jungle. We'll see if that plays its part here.
Pierce Strutt tossing out of bounds. I had a chance to interview a few of these international players for BC Christian Prep. What an eye-opening opportunity this is for these players. And it's not lost on them the opportunity that this is affording them, not only playing in the NPA against high-level competition across Canada, but also being able to play with players from 7 different countries on this roster of 17. Great experience for them as people and as players. Really interesting to hear them talk about the styles of basketball that they're playing here. To a man, they're all calling it dynamic. A lot of one-on-one play. Helps them change their style, many of them coming from Europe.
And I think the guys that are here on the floor right now from the Bahamas, they've kind of adopted that style already. They've played a lot in the States. We mentioned that Sammy Hunter was at NBA Basketball Without Borders, which is an event hosted by FIBA and the NBA in cohesion to identify some of the world's top players.
Nice finish. 26. Luis Pacheco.
31. I guess he'd be the standout guy.
I mean, Crestwood just seems to have standout players at almost every position. It was just my first opportunity to see him yesterday. Pacheco coming through with the pin.
Hey, that's okay. Make it up to me. Make it up. Make it up.
And it seems like head coach Doug Dowell has maybe found a answer to his full-time starting point guard position right now, as Filip Milosevic drives for 2, but getting the start for the second consecutive game, Peter Lee at the point guard position, number 11 in the white jersey.
And Peter Lee's coming from St. George's in British Columbia, which is a well-known basketball program. I actually know the coaching staff there quite well.
That's not going to make the Crestwood coaching staff happy. 4-2, both teams trying to get their legs under them in this early morning game. The second of 7 games on the schedule today, live from Ottawa, the battle in the capital. The National Preparatory Association brought to you by North Pole Hoops' Mariana Obad. Baseline jumper, his second year with this program. So many young players on this team as well, this BC Christian Prep squad. And
sideline jumper brought to you by
there you go.
Mariana Obad. Pacheco trying to be a little too fancy with that one. Coach Rowe not happy about it. He's great at what he does when he just sticks to that.
Shane Scruggs, Kobe Antwi checking into the game. And that's what is so impressive about this Crestwood squad. Yeah, I'll take off my 6'6", 6'7" guys and replace them with 6'6", 6'5" guys.
That's a good problem to have, man.
Nice pass. Franco Miller. Every day, every game, does something a little bit different. I think he's going to be hearing some heavy knocks at his door pretty soon. Franco Miller.
You get back! It doesn't matter if it's your check. You protect the basket. Scores wrong. Scores wrong.
Crestwood up 2 right now, 6-4. 3.5 minutes into this one. Pierce Strutt, one of the local kids. Hands it off, Peter Lee. Obad from deep. Doesn't quite have the legs with him just yet. Lee heads Sammy Hunter.
Come on, Sammy, you got to dunk those. Want to see the big man. He's doing a good job running the lanes and filling in. But you got to start finishing with some more authority. Now, I'm speaking on behalf of, or for all the big men. Him, Casey Izagu, some of the other bigs. You just got to finish with more authority. If you want to gain respect from the referees, if you want to instill some fear in your opponents, you got to start finishing with some fierceness.
And if you are one of those big men and you look around, like you're going to be seeing the same thing that Elias just mentioned right there. And if you look around, I mean, I was talking with Tarek yesterday on the broadcast here that there is more size in this age group, and as we get further along, it's just genetics, right? Players are getting bigger, players are getting stronger, and Canada trails the U.S. obviously due to that population size. We just don't have as many big men, but as we're growing, figure if like you look around, you're like, if you see that no one has that aggression and you do it, you're going to stand out over top of all these other guys.
Easily, man, easily. And I was talking about Casey Izagu in one game, in a previous game. One of his best traits was the fact that he really is a very, very vocal player. And as he's added to his offensive arsenal, he's taken away from being vocal. And I was telling Tarek, you just got to continue to add. You can't like add something and then stop whatever it is that you already do well. That doesn't make any sense. Be an asset by adding more skills.
Checking in for BC Christian Prep, Mustafa Goats, and Amir Hussein Rahimzad, who I talked to before this game and gave him his on-camera debut. He said that he has tons of family and friends watching online on NorthPoleHoops.com back home in Iran, and he wanted to say hello to all of you. Thank you for your support as he continues to chase his basketball dreams. Says he's enjoying it over here just a month into his tenure in British Columbia. Amir Hussein played in the U17 for Iran, was one of the top players on that squad. He had a solid first game for this team. Yesterday didn't get into the second half, but we see him as one of the first subs for head coach Doug Dowell today here against Crestwood. Amir Hussein doesn't back down from anyone. You wouldn't expect anything less if you've ever watched Iranian basketball.
He's got a lot of good length on him. Able to defend a couple of different positions. Looks pretty mobile. But that speed of Franco Miller.
Block. He caught up. Goats gives it right back.
Seem to be handling the pressure a lot better today is BC Christian.
Obad onto the wing. Peter Lee. Look at that big rebound right there. You know, I really like how we've seen BC Christian compete against these teams. Fila Milosevic had 17 boards in his first game in the Ottawa session. And right there, I mean,
there's another one.
Yep.
And I think he's one of the more skilled players for this squad. He's one of the best. And he's getting an earful from Coach Dowell as Marion Obad.
And this is about evolving as a player. You know, you always hear, you know, the European style is, lack of a better term, soft.
Yep.
But I mean, that's what's impressive about these players coming over to North America early. They add that style to their game, and Marion agreed. He said, listen, like, it's a lot more of a physical game over here, and it helps me evolve my game. Downtown connection for Crestwood.
That was Jacoby Neath on the 3 ball. And on the screen right now, number 22 in the blue for Crestwood, Elijah Fisher. That's the #1 player in the 2023 class, projected to be a big-time prospect.
Franco Miller bringing the ball up. Again, Amir Hossein Rahimzad is throwing a little block party here, shouting out his boys in Iran. That's 2 in the early going, making his impact on the defensive end. BC Christian Prep comes out with it. Rahimzad saves it. Sammy Hunter now. He's played a lot of that point forward position. Handling that rock fairly often is the Bohemian.
And I like the adjustment that Coach Dowell has made, allowing Peter Lee to get some minutes here at point guard.
Nice pass. Lee runs into trouble.
And you're absolutely right about that last one. He had a sweet pass, Obad did, to Agaz underneath the rim, but a forced shot that time. The shot selection's got to be a lot better than that. He had 3 bodies around him.
Would you say Sammy Hunter has the best feet of a big man in the NPA that you've seen thus far? Like, I don't know anybody who's been better.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I think Mr. Pacheco, who's about to check in, can compete against that as well.
You're just saying that because he's sitting in front of us here at the bench.
No, he's been great. I mean, he's a rim protector. He's very mobile. He's running his lanes. I think him and Hunter would be the 2 with the best footwork for bigs. I mean.
BC Christian Prep hanging tough with Crestwood. We got a timeout on the floor. Will Russell wants to talk it over. We'll be back. Battle in the Capitol continues, day 3.
Rothsay Netherwood, better known as RNS, will enter its 2nd season in the National Preparatory Association. Head coach Damian Gay will need leadership from his 4 seniors in order to continue to build on the program's solid foundation, which now has some added pieces to it. NCAA prospect Shaheem Malcolm made the move from Toronto to New Brunswick, and the lengthy guard is sure to make a splash in his new home. While Canadian national champion Kellen Tynes continues to earn high praise as the highest level prospect out of Canada's East Coast since fellow guard and Dartmouth native Lindell Wigginton. Halifax Prep out of Nova Scotia is following in the footsteps of their maritime brethren, RNS, as they enter their first season in the NPA. They will be led by standout point guard Cairo Berry, who is expected to log...
Welcome back, 1:55 to go here in the opening quarter. Got a nice little matchup here in the first quarter. I thought this would be a good game for both teams. Just like boxing, it's all about styles. BC Christian Prep has an awful lot of length, and they've just cut the lead to 1 thanks to a nice jumper from Marian Obad. Moving to the baseline. Kick out, Treffery. Nice box out from Sammy Hunter, allowing his teammate Goats to come down with the rebound. Darius Osainpour with the ball.
And the pass just a little too hard. All he's got to do is place it in his hand. The outreach of the Iranian was enough to catch it.
Moving on. 1:05 left. Sometimes things are better left unsaid when you see him on the court. But I think, you know, that's what Doug Dowell has been struggling with, right? Finding a point guard he can trust. And Osainpour is trying to be that guy for him. Rahimzad down low. Hunter, this is where he likes to operate. Back out, Osainpour. Goats. Rahimzad kind of bringing everybody together. Now Sammy Hunter, one of the leaders of this team. A quiet confidence with Hunter as well. His second year with this team, I think he feels like he can be a bit more of a leader.
And he's got to be. He's the team, one of the team's top producers, top scorers, top rebounder. You got to be the guy. You're going to be the guy people listen to.
How great is that when you see a kid at his age, I think 16, about to turn 17, or just turned 17? Like,
that's right.
If you can be a leader of a team full of international players, I mean, language barriers, style differences, you're dealing with people who, you know, are homesick at some points. If you can be the leader of that team, you can be a leader of any team.
Yeah, you're right, man. I never thought about it that way.
We're tied at 14, 24 seconds to go here in the opening quarter. Really a dream first quarter here for BC Christian Prep, but just as I say that, Kobe Antwi, basket and the bump, going to the line, looking for the three-point play, put his team up 3.
Hit this, Kobe. Come on.
And Kobe Antwi, 6'4", member of the 2020 Canadian class, gets the hoop and the harm.
19 seconds to go here. This is really where BC Christian Prep has struggled. End of the quarter, late shot clock opportunities. Again, without a decision maker out there a lot of times, and Marijan Obad is that guy a lot of the time. Rahimzad no good. Crestwood brings it down. 17-14, Crestwood a 3-point lead after the first quarter. The battle in the capital. We got 7 games coming at you live on NorthPoleHoops.com. Stay tuned. We'll be back. Second quarter action after a short break.
As the engine of this team on both ends of the floor. Like any expansion team, growing pains are to be expected, but there is no better experience than being thrown into the NPA fire. The St. Laurent Express has a storied basketball history that they're looking to bring to the NPA. The next wave of Quebec talent includes Ben Datro, who can score in bunches from every spot of the floor and is always a threat to simply take over a game. While the man in the middle for St. Lo goes by the name of Trayvon Minot. Armed with the hard work mentality needed to clean up the mess in the paint, Minot also has the skill and soft touch to get buckets on his own. The Express boasts a roster full of high character type players that are needed to vie for a national title, and they all have that same chip on their shoulder that Quebec ballers do. Everyone needs to respect the Q. The team to beat out of the Northeast Division is the same squad the entire NPA is gunning for. Canada Top Flight Academy is the reigning, defending, and first ever high school aged national basketball champions in Canadian basketball history. Much of the same team returns to the floor this season, including a more physically mature Moon Reith, who is now a matchup nightmare, standing at 6'7" with the guard skills of a much smaller player. It will take a special squad to guard.
And on your screen right now, zoomed in on number 40, Jacoby Neath. Number 7 overall ranked player in the 2019 class for Canada. Holds an offer from Western Kentucky. Western Kentucky just picked up a commitment from Delano Banton, who's actually in the 2018 class. Franco Miller with the ball right now. Coming out this year as a 2018. Physically very impressive and ready for the next level. Has a skill set to match.
Ooh.
There's Neath from long distance.
We already warned you not to get caught underneath with Jacoby Neath. And there he is. Look at the wingspan on this kid. He's taking it the other way. Don't leap with him.
And BC is going to have to make another adjustment right now. That's 3 straight turnovers for Hussein Poor. And either he's got to get rid of it quicker or just hang. Like, he's getting flustered with the defense all in his face. He's got to separate and create some space. Take a retreat dribble. Ogaz mishandles it.
Here we go. Miller taking it hard at Hussein Poor. Just muscles his way in. Don't look now, but this solid first quarter from BC Christian Prep has disappeared. They're down 10. Timeout. Head coach Doug Dowell. Battle in the Capitol continues. Stay with us.
British Columbia Christian Prep brings the most international flavor of any team in the National Preparatory Association, and with that comes an air of mystery surrounding this team. Veteran head coach Doug Dowell returns many of last year's players, which will give him a rotation of highly skilled players with prep experience already under their belt. Team leader and NCAA prospect Marijan Obad is expected to star on the West Coast this season, and he's joined on the front line by fellow big man Sammy Hunter from the Bahamas. Hunter spent his summer playing with the national team of his homeland and also took part in the NBA's Basketball Without Borders, collecting NCAA offers from coaches who love his skill in the paint. The Panthers have added even more depth with young players from across the globe looking to leave their mark on the Canadian basketball landscape, and there's no better place than the NPA. The Notre Dame Hounds out of Wilcox, Saskatchewan quickly went from underdogs to up-and-comers in the NPA's debut season, and they continue to trend upwards thanks to their rosters.
We're back in Ottawa, where BC Christian Prep's solid first quarter has given way to a nightmare opening minute of the second quarter. And suddenly they find themselves down double digits.
And a flurry of turnovers has been the executioner. There was a little, oh my goodness, and there's another one. There was a little bit of a stretch in yesterday's game where they had 10 consecutive. Just not able to take care of the ball, not able to secure possessions. And then they're giving up on second chance opportunities as well. So it's going to be a very rough beginning for BC Christian, but I do remember last year, they didn't start off the year strong, but they did finish on a high note.
You get it back there. Obad.
There's the youngster Elijah Fisher on the strip.
And he gets back to cover his position. Great hustle. The same poor pull-up jumper. Usain Poor trying to get a little positivity back in his coach's eyes. Nice battle on D. Sammy Hunter bringing it up, little crossover. Rahimzad down low. Obad, nice pass. Just a little late from Agos. He should have went with it right away. And I think that's what Sammy Hunter's saying. I'm 6'9", man. Give it to me up top. Wasting down isn't helpful. Trevon Thomas.
He had himself a good game last night as well. Had about 4 steals in the game.
Ooh, step back. Got Rahimzad to bite. Comes back, pokes it out of bounds. 8 on the shot clock. Crestwood would get it back. Just over 2 minutes into this second quarter, still an 11-point lead for the Lions.
And yesterday we had some questions about the shot clock resetting. Remember that in FIBA, off of a offensive rebound, we're resetting to 14, not 24.
Rahimzad looking for Hunter, looking for the high-low feed. Goats ends up getting it. 3 in the keys called. Crestwood coaching staff telling their team to clean it up a little bit. I think they can go for both sides. Kick it, Thomas. Corner pockets money. Off a nice assist from Neath. Ooh, those are the turnovers that kill this team.
Good fight by Kobe Antwi. Recovers, and Fisher on a cleanup.
Don't open up. Don't open up.
Usain Poor on the wing. Marion Obad gets it back. Big time block. Jacoby Neath out here pulling out the Windex and the paper towel, cleaning some glass. This kid has arms for days. Chiseled as well.
The athleticism to go with it too. He's 6'3", blocking a 6'7" guy.
Sure he's a point guard?
He's definitely a point guard. We've been through this. We've been through this, Jay.
Most impressed.
Elijah Fisher slowed down for the defense on that one. They got to go all the way.
Usain Poor. That'll make him feel a little bit better. Hadn't been able to connect until that point. The Panthers trying to keep this one in check. Had weathered the storm of a tough 5 minutes carried over from that first quarter. Bunch of reserves coming in for Crestwood.
Hey, news are in.
Bapu,
7 seconds on the shot
Franco
clock.
Miller.
7 on the shot clock. Execute.
Tamir Tarski, the first time we've seen him.
5, 4.
And Pacheco, who just checked out, is getting some great instruction from Coach Ro Russell. I'm not sure if you just saw that on that last play. Jacoby Neath drove, attracted 2 defenders, and Pacheco popped out instead of rolling towards the basket, which would have ended up in a pretty easy dunk.
34.
This press is creating a few problems right now for BC.
You said go, right? You said go. Yeah. Come Come on.
Got to get it over half. Sammy Hunter runs in a double team, passes out of it. Obad. Trevon Thomas giving up all kinds of weight and height, but still had a nice little box out there, putting the body on the man. Crestwood's going to get the ball.
No excuses. Let's go. Execute. Let's go.
Franco Miller. Heard that name an awful lot here in Ottawa. Ooh, quick trigger. Thomas followed his shot, though. You like to see that. Almost got it back. Obad, pull-up jumper. Follows his shot as well, but can't get it back.
Like to see him finish at the rim with those. That pull-up's a little bit off balance. Had to stop on a dime on that one.
Hey, if we recover on a miss, I want Monty home. Nobody fouled off the middle. Monty protecting my rim.
Neath, pull up. I was going to say, the way he was walking up the floor, he looked tired. Thought maybe that would be a little short, but he got his legs underneath him, and that was a sweet stroke. Jacoby Neath.
Sure he's a point guard?
I mean, we've been over this, man. Who's the scout here? He just has all the skills, and we talked about it before as well. Just that's what the new point guard is, right? You got to do everything. And we've seen a lot from Jacoby Neath up here. We've seen a lot from Crestwood in general. Putting their names into the mix when it comes to national championship aspirations.
They've been able to put on so many different bodies and distribute the minutes, rest their key guys. Now Jacoby's a little banged up, a little sore from a previous injury. It's a very minor one, but recovering nonetheless and still balling out over here in the nation's capital.
Let's execute. Let's go, Crestwood. Come on. Let's go, Crestwood.
Franco Miller, recently reclass. How come we haven't heard?
Who's that?
Franco Miller.
No, he's been in the 2018 class. He's always been in the 2018 class. Just been slept on, really. Kind of getting tired of using that that terminology, but it is the truth. That's what's happened with him.
Obad to a Goats. Mustafa was a key part to this team last year. Hasn't been the same so far in Ottawa. Up ahead, pure strut. Back out. Ooh, just missed on the block there. Hossein Poor glassing in. The block by a Goats. The Panthers have shown glimpses of what they can do, and the defense has been very strong in the first half of this one. But once again, it's the distribution on the other end, right? We always look up and they just don't seem to have the point total they should have to be able to hang with these teams.
Yeah, they can't get it done in the half-court set. That's been a big problem for them.
That is the toughest position to fill when you're looking to plug holes, as they say. Keenan Dowell left this team, graduated. And how do you replace a coach's son at that point guard spot, who's also the heart and soul of this team? I think the leadership isn't an issue anymore. Just the decision making. Hunter. A Goats.
And Dowell, who's now playing at Sheridan Community College. He'll probably do this season at the JUCO level and then go on to the NCAA.
You see that Thomas looked over his shoulder, not for the defender, but to see who was trailing him on his end, and by the time he looked back up, ball was off his foot, out of bounds.
And when you're that far ahead of the defense, and you got them even just at your hip, you got to go full force at the rim. If there's nobody to your left, definitely don't be looking back. I've seen it happen, on so many occasions where the person who's leading the charge is in transition and about to get to the rim and then looks back and hopefully he doesn't. Easy finish for the finger roll.
But he took off a little awkwardly there, or else we would have seen a bit of a spike. Sammy Hunter once again putting that footwork on display. Under 2 minutes to go here. The Panthers down 13 as Crestwood continues to keep control of this game. Strutt gets out of the trap. He's going to run into trouble, but nope. Spins back around.
I think he got away with a little bit of a hook there.
He got away with a hook and
maybe two of them.
Yeah. It's these end of quarter situations where the Panthers seem to let it get away from them. We saw it not being able to execute at the end of the first quarter there, and here we are now, 1:32 to go. They're down 13 at the line, opportunity to chip away at this lead. We talk about winning time at the end of games, but at the end of quarters means an awful lot too, heading into that halftime with some momentum on your side.
Pierce Strutt, 1 of 2. Another of 2018 that will be graduating.
Pierce Strutt, they got away with a couple earlier. You know what I'm seeing here, though? I'm seeing BC Christian trying to meet the physicality of Crestwood. And sometimes when you're not used to playing that way,
you got to meet it with finesse. If you understand what I mean, like you gotta pick and choose what you can't just blatantly in the middle of the court where.
But if you don't play that way, right? Sometimes it
it doesn't come natural.
Yeah, exactly. And then it's obvious to the officials that.
Yep.
Where if a team is naturally physical, a lot of times they can get away with more.
Yeah, it's part of some teams' identities.
Ooh, I thought there was going to be a big swat coming off the weak side there. Ooh, nice ball fake and finish, Jacoby Neath. Strutt hands it off. Trapped in the corner, 4 on the shot clock.
And this is when guys, when you have a man trapped in the corner, that's when at least 2 guys need to come to the ball. Instead, you see all the Panthers dispersed along the perimeter. If he loses that ball, that's on nobody's fault but everybody else. Guys trapped in the corner, you got to come to it.
Just 1 on the shot clock. Shot clock violation, 36.7 to go. Crestwood with an opportunity to extend their lead. Neath with the rock. Getting instructions from the sidelines from head coach Roe Russell. Running off the screen. Asking for a post. The Goats heard that as well and jumped in and tried to jump the lane. Panthers get it back. Shoot themselves in the foot. Foul on the ground. In the bonus. Shane Scruggs checks into the game for Pacheco.
Scruggs is really lengthy, 6'7", 2019 prospect. Adds some versatility on the defensive end, able to match up with the opponent's different positions.
39-23, 12 seconds to go. There's Sammy Hunter. A two-handed slam from the big man from the Bahamas, cutting the lead to 14 through 2 quarters. Stay with us. Game 2 halfway in the books. 7 games coming at you from the nation's capital. Thank you for joining us from Ottawa, Ontario on NorthPoleHoops.com.
SJK out of Waterloo, Ontario will have some size on a roster that will take some time to come together. Milan Rauknic will be in a starring role for a team that will bring grit and toughness to every game that they play, while Alex Novicic has some great footwork and range to put on display with his 6'7" frame. Beast Prep stands for Basketball Evolution Academic Specialized Training. Combo guard Matt Green will be running the show for the crew out of Hamilton, Ontario, and will be pushing the tempo for a squad that promises no easy games. The basketball culture in Hamilton is one that is often in the shadows of the basketball-loving fans in the city, but that will start to change with the new addition to the NPA. GTA Prep struggled in their debut season in the National Preparatory Association, but former professional head coach David Cooper has made sure that will not happen again. Joshua Houghton has the type of bounce that has fans sitting on the edge of their seat waiting for something special. But don't let the hops fool you into thinking he's a one-dimensional player. His combination of high IQ and explosive skill set allows him to make everyone around him better. That will mean great things to the standouts from last season, including DeAndre Pierre, who has never had a problem finishing at the rim.
Woo! DeAndre Pierre all over the rim.
Having 2 high-level players will take some of the pressure off of AJ Lawson, even though he thrives when the game is on the line. Lawson's length, explosiveness, and improved jump shot has college coaches knocking at his door, but they will be lining up behind the Oregon Ducks, who already have an offer on the table. GTA Prep is back in the NPA to not only take part, they are back to try to take over. The London Basketball Academy surprised everyone but themselves as they made a run through the first ever NPA National Championship tournament to earn a berth in the gold medal game where some returning players made a name for themselves.
Cummins, that is
No
not
way.
the guy.
No way.
Cummins, tie game. Oh, plus the foul. Cummins got the answer.
Denzel Cummins has earned the title of a dead-eye shooter that shines on the big stage, while the wide-bodied and skilled Joshin Kumsa will be even more dangerous this season as he will slide to his natural position of power forward, while the addition of Okai Jamgoose will give this team a special look. Already on the radar for the Ivy League, this intelligent, high-character gym rat is a coach's dream. Armed with a skilled stroke, hard work in the offseason has helped Jamgoose move into the point guard role where his 6'4" frame will be a matchup disaster for LBA opponents. But the element of surprise is gone for this team as they go from the hunter to one of the hunted in the NPA's second season.
I wanna fly, can you take me far away? Give me a star to reach for, tell me what it takes, and I'll go so high, my feet won't touch the ground. Just hitch my wings and pull the strings. I bought these strings that all fall down.
The nice thing about him is he's a basketball player. There is no position defined for him. He's learning the skills. He's learning the skills of playing the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, the guard at all the positions.
The last thing what makes RJ Jr. so special is that he wants to be special. He's willing to do the work to become special. He's open to learning. he has his flaws like everyone else does, but he recognizes his flaws. He knows to keep working on them, and he's never satisfied even with his own strengths as a basketball player. So that's what makes him special.
Number 7, Rowan Barrett Jr.
Oh, that's my boy. He never stopped seeking to amaze me. And when we were in the game, like, I could tell what he was gonna do. I was like, he's my boy. I'm gonna just let him, show out. So, but the chemistry's really good. We're roommates right now and everything. So.
I call him a professional scorer. That's definitely going to translate to the NBA game. He's just relentless on getting around you and getting to the basket and getting to the foul lines. And that's what I respect about him. I'm a huge fan of his.
That's all. Okay, showtime.
RJ making the splash takes his rightful throne at number 1, and I think regardless of class, he would have been there anyways. Maybe even number 1 in North America, let alone the Canadian rankings. Was the leading scorer in the most competitive league in the world at the amateur level. At 6'7", a guy that's playing 2 and 1, that's a deadly combination.
I mean, I think the first thing with RJ is he has goals, right? He has goals that he's set out, that he's driving for. So that's always great, right? Because all you ever really have to do is continue to focus him towards the goals he set. If you're trying to achieve the things that he is, I think that he's a hard worker, he's been a consistent worker, and oh, here he comes. Oh.
Yes. Yeah. Being number 1 in the world, there's no conversation about it, there's no discussion about it. But what's next for you? What are your goals?
Pretty simple, go to college and go to the NBA and be a star.
Everyone has their story. What's yours? Were you born with the ball in your hands? Or were you a late bloomer? Are you a dead-eye shooter? Or a high flyer?
Throws up an alley-oop! All elbow! Williams!
Are you a leader? Or an elite role player? North Pole Hoops wants to know, what's your story?
Don't waste any time. We're back to live game action. Fast and furious here. Game 2 of 7.
And in this
Iron
game,
Lung Tour.
In this game, the Crestwood Lions have changed up their tempos on multiple occasions. They've put on a full court press. They've beat them in the half-court set. Here they are in transition now. Franco Miller's been a problem. He has been unguardable, so to speak.
Leading scorer after that first half, Jacoby Neath, said if there's such thing as a quiet 20 points, he had it. There's going about his business. Easy foul call there. Trevon Thomas. Don't really know how you can argue that call. BC Christian had a really solid first quarter, got away from him there in the second. As we see Peter Lee back running the point for this team. That's how they started the game. There's Lee, wing three. I was just about to say, and he hit from downtown. I was about to say, if he can add that to his game, I think he's going to take a lot of those minutes that Doug Dowell's looking to fill at that point spot.
I've seen him do it at St. George's when, when he was playing in British Columbia. Nice in and out by Jacoby, just a little off balance on that shot. And there's actually been interest from other areas of BC for a second prep program from the region. Nice take by Pierce Strutt on the finish, right-handed finish.
This Crestwood team can look intimidating. They can just come at you in waves. Oh! Put him on a poster. Luis Pacheco. Striking fear into the hearts of opponents, and he comes right back with two more. This team is scary. Pacheco, another steal. Behind the back, trying to save it. Can't do it.
Can't get mad at him for that one, though. After those last two plays, he really picked up the momentum.
Wants to talk it over as we recover from the Luis Pacheco spike. We'll take a break. Hope you didn't spill your drink.
Rep by rep, you push yourself. Effort is only half the battle. Doubt sets in. Why do you do it? Is it worth it? The lights turn on. All your questions are answered.
NPH Scouting Service. The NPH Scouting Service is another platform for exposure with a network of over 300 coaches and scouts from some of the most recognizable brands and programs. Our scouts are constantly evaluating talent to ensure accuracy and credibility.
We're back. We're Crestwood starting to impose their will. I think they got a little messed up on which part of the court they were defending, or maybe they just did not see BC Christian Prep because their bench is on that side, just sneaking behind them. Ro Russell was not impressed. He'll be impressed with that pass and finish. Luis Pacheco is using the battle in the capital as his jumping off ground.
Pacheco's got about 8 points in just over a minute. It was a pleasant surprise for us yesterday and picking up where he left off. 6'9", 2019 center.
Ooh, almost have it picked off.
Good job by Pacheco, come and help side, but BC recovers and
look at him
gets
run
it on the
wing.
cleanup.
Back out top. Franco Miller all day.
Such a powerful body. Guys are just bouncing off of him.
There he is, poking it away, Miller. Sammy Hunter made sure to foul him and Sammy goes over right away. So, you know, he caught him.
Never a good spot to get hit between the legs. Sometimes that pain kind of lingers for an entire quarter. You can try to shake it off as much as you want, but you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. Everybody's been hit there at some point in their career.
Refs calling that an intentional foul. You get 2 in the ball.
By the way, I heard you had a career high of 13 points back in your high school days.
Yeah, we had some time to burn yesterday. Talked a little Central Peel Secondary School, Brampton basketball. Talked a little Canada basketball. They play tonight, opening up their World Cup qualifying window against the Bahamas out in Halifax. We're holding it down here in the nation's capital with high-level national high school basketball, while out in Halifax, we have our national team. We have Halifax Prep with us here in Ottawa. Up top, Franco Miller throwing it down. Jacoby Neath at the table. Crestwood has pushed this lead up to 19, and they've done it with brute strength and high-flying finesse. This team's fun to watch. Marianne Obad at the line. He's been the leading scorer for BC Christian Prep many times through their NPA and non-NPA schedule. Again, we're in game 2 of 7, and every day, you know, every game is solid and has something else to be said about it. But really, the marquee matchup for me today is coming up at 12:15. LBA taking on the Notre Dame Hounds.
LBA last night had some moments of struggle, but battled back against Central Tech. Raheem Sullivan finished it up with a buzzer beater for Central Tech. But there's a lot of good going on at LBA as well. Denzel Cummins is transitioning to a full-time point guard. He is a full-time point guard, but you know, last year had to play a little bit on the wing with Jalen Warren in the mix and David Penny. Now, he's taken full responsibility at PG and is a good enough ball handler, but there has to be a secondary to relieve some pressure.
Sorry, go ahead. Well, I was just going to say, I was most impressed yesterday with Denzel Cummins. I saw him. Beat it! Saw him quickly. Pure strut, just fearless today. I saw Cummins just in the hallway quickly and just said, thoroughly impressed. And talking with Tarek yesterday on the broadcast, I said it felt like that national championship last year was kind of the beginning for Cummins, and to see the evolution into this season, like we're seeing what he can become, and he's not there yet, like you mentioned.
Yeah, and he's got another year to go, and I think that's very positive. He's going to get all of this year to really build himself as one of the elite point guards in this league. You have Okai Jamgos, who's the best shooter regardless of class, had 24 points last night, and that was in a bad game for him. And he knows it as well. He's never happy with himself, even after a 25, 30-point game. He's asking himself, well, I should have assisted more. I should have rebounded a little bit more. I should have moved better off the ball. I should have set more screens to get somebody else open. So with those two kind of leading the pack, then they have a pretty good supporting cast. You know, I think with Kur Jokush, I think was a standout.
Well done on the name, by the way.
You know, I try.
No, he was amazing. I feel like LBA, they had a couple of players that had 2 solid quarters and then kind of took 2 quarters off. And Kerr was one of those guys. He came out fresh out the gates. First half was awesome. Really disappeared until late in the fourth.
You're right. In the beginning, he was rebounding and altering a lot of shots. I mean, crazy length on him. He just puts up his arms, and now all of a sudden he's, 7'5".
Peter Lee. That's the bench. They're feeling it right now. They're feeling that their team is starting to find their identity. Everyone's starting to accept their roles and play better in those. Going through these games again. There's a couple of really delicious matchups today. LBA, Notre Dame Hounds. Talking about chicken fajita delicious. Halifax Prep, SJK following up at 2 o'clock. Then at 3:45 Central Tech. Our first look at Beast Prep on the stream. 5:30 the mysterious St. Laurent Express. And they'll be taking on GTA Prep, who had no problem with RNS despite being without AJ Lawson. And they're going to have Lawson back for that game, so he's going to be rested and hungry. And then we're going to see this Crestwood Prep team all over again, and they'll be taking on the defending champs in CTA.
That should be a really good one.
Exactly. I mean, you seem to, at least I did, I slept on that final matchup of the day. That's going to be fun because those are two teams that, I hate to bring up the sport, but hockey line changes, both those teams. They can kind of go 5 in, 5 out. They're deep.
That is absolutely true. And with that St. Laurent game that you're talking about, AJ Lawson, yes, will be back after being assessed 2 technicals and having to sit out the first game of today. However, for St. Laurent, they're going to be missing one of their best scorers, Ben Datro, who sprained his ankle 2 weeks ago and is kind of healing up still.
Weak side, weak side.
He's going to be one of those players that's going to really shock the league when he's at full health.
Guys, watch the screen. Kobe, look around, Kobe, hands up.
This leads down to 12.
Let's help, let's help, let's help.
Ooh, Sammy Hunter quick to the baseline.
Squeeze, Lou. Hey, Lewis, no baseline, no baseline. Franco, back up.
Going to correct the shot clock.
No foul, no basket. Hey, Kobe, we're blue. Deny the pop-up. Deny.
6 on the clock. 2:40 to go here in the third. 55-43 Crestwood Prep. Looked like they were going to pull away. Did not quite happen for him. Strutt, Lee. Ooh, that would have been big for him. That would have been his third.
And I like Lee. I like Lee in the lineup. He's been actually quite positive for them. He's added a little bit of ball handling. He's a guy who's trustworthy shooting the 3.
12 seconds, 12 seconds. Who's the ball? What's that ball?
He's got to be experimenting between Harry and Peter.
Switch. Push.
Miller pulls it back out. Cut off by Lee. Sammy Hunter, the little INT. He's going to bring it up on his own, spinning. Telegraphed that one a little bit. Tough pass to throw, but they came out with it. No call.
Defense by Pacheco, man. He's always in the lane.
Good body control on Pacheco, I find. I guess when you have a wingspan like that, if you just go straight up and use those arms to cover space, it's a good game plan to have.
And Jacoby Neese does so much for this team. It's been questioned what his actual position is. You know, he grabs as many rebounds as a forward and a center sometimes. Yet he is a PG for the next level. A supreme ability to create offense both for himself and others. He's got a breakdown game that has not been unleashed completely yet. Neath misses his first one of 2. And that free throw makes it 56-43 for Crestwood with 1:40.
Lee, kick out. gets it back. Finds himself in the corner. Hunter brings it down with those big mitts into the corner. Pierce Strutt. Seems like every time BC Christian Prep needs that shot to get over the hump, they can't quite get it.
A little bit of life coming from the bench, and that's something that's going to need to be a little more consistent.
Got numbers going the other way. Drop off. Hunter back to Lee. That's been his spot today. But Ahimzad to Hunter. It seems like every time Sammy gets the ball at his shoulders or above, good things happen.
Soft touch, man. He can get it. He can get that finger roll, that tap, that little baby floater, jump hook. He's got those in his game. They just got to feed him a little bit more. If the problem is, again, it goes. I know we're reiterating here, but it goes back to the point guard. The entry pass into the paint is a simple pass to make, but not everyone can do it. Not everyone even looks to make it. If you can attract a little bit of attention into Sammy at the high post just to get a little bit of a touch, it actually opens up major opportunities for the shooters on the perimeter.
And I guess that's why we see the offense often being that kind of high-low post feed, because if you don't have the guy who can deliver that entry pass, then you do it with height.
That's right.
Strutt hasn't had the touch today from range.
That looks like it's going to be called an intentional.
Another.
And that's the right call. There was no play made on the ball. Definitely the right call by the officiating team.
I was thinking Crestwood would like to have this one put to bed by now so they could rest some guys for the night game, but I guess really when you can roll really like 11, 12 deep, your guys are going to be fresh anyways.
Hey, 12-19, 12-19.
Here comes the kid. Elijah Fisher checking in. Hasn't played an awful lot. Ro Russell bringing him along slowly at this age level.
And he's not used to coming off the bench. You know, I saw a little bit of facial expression from him. Not impressed that he has to come in with 12 seconds to go in the game. But at the same time, it's not like he's coming in as been as effective as he would have amongst his own age group. It's learning curves.
Neath can't get it to go to beat the buzzer. A 12-point lead for Crestwood. BC Christian Prep has a chance heading into this fourth quarter. Stay with us. We'll be back. The battle in the Capitol.
Bembry handling it. Cross court to Pangos for three, and Kevin knocks it down.
I read a book called Outliers, and it talked about why people need people around them to take advantage of in order to succeed at the highest levels. That same summer, Kevin was chosen as the youngest member of the national team. Kevin might be an outlier. Kevin was playing for A-Game Hoops, which is a team that Kyle Julius ran, and Kevin was on the team as a high school player. And I was coaching at the University of Guelph, and Kevin was lighting us up. And I'm loving this because I've loved Kevin since he was a kid, but I'm also hating it because we're getting drilled by this team. And Chris leans over to me and says, "That guy can't miss." And I went, "Title." Because it says about what Kevin's life's about is whatever happens to him, he just rolls with it. And we all need to learn from that. A failure is just a part of success. And that's the way he really, really views it. So if you have that attitude, honestly, you can't miss.
Bembry handling it.
Has to back out. Now he's got a little space to operate. Nice pass. Wow. Oh, what a nice pass.
Kevin read a book called Long Shot, a story about Steve Nash. I can connect it with Steve's story a lot, not comparing them, but just the whole idea that when Nash won the MVP, the next day, his first MVP, the next day he says, "Now I really have to prove myself." And that's what the good ones do, is they're constantly striving for better and better and better. And you know, kids that are grade 9, grade 10, they're very good, but they're just starting. And they need to understand that you're good, but you're just starting, and just never be satisfied. Keep working. And I think that that's what Kevin really, really taught me in writing the book. It's about how it's never be satisfied. Just keep going.
Back out to Pangos. Got it again.
Pangos is knocking out all these open threes.
Kevin and I have a relationship that was formulated when I was one of the coaches at camp.
Back to live game action. Peter Lee. Elijah Fisher guarding him. Oh, look out, your boy, Elijah Fisher. Two-handed slam.
Young Buck gets his first poster.
He's been sitting on the bench waiting for that opportunity, and he ate that whole meal with one spoon.
Hands up, Kobe! Kobe, trace the ball.
Welcome to the league, Young Buck. Nice move to the baseline. Back the other way again, Fisher. He got a taste, he wants some more. Strong move. Kobe Antwi.
Hands up.
Peter Lee onto the wing. Rahimzad. Strut. Ran out of room on the baseline. 14-point lead. You kind of get that feeling Crestwood is ready to put their foot on the gas and keep it there.
Makes sense that Coach Rowe would want to rest some of these guys prior to the next game. So if there's a time to do it, they're going to want to do it in the first half of this fourth quarter.
Neath pulls up. Coach Russell wants a timeout. Just a minute and a half in, I think he wants to put the pedal to the metal. We'll be back to Ottawa. Stay with us.
Back out to Pangos. Got it again.
Pangos is knocking out all these open threes.
Kevin and I have a relationship that was formulated when I was one of the coaches at Camp Olympia that he could talk to and he could relate to, and we'd do workouts together, whatever it might be. And then it evolved into the admiration of he knew that I knew where he wanted to go. But I was one of those coaches that we're at another level that Kevin was after, and he could get information from me. He's 17 years old when I first proposed this to him and his parents. A 17-year-old kid, I want to write a book about you because I want to follow you for the next 4 years. It turns out to be Gonzaga. And then from there, he and I Skyped, you know, lots of times throughout his 4 years, and we became very, very close. And it's very, very special.
And now Pangos from straight away. Hit another three. His sixth of the first half.
I think the biggest thing about Kevin, highly skilled, but his values are very, very solid. Home-schooled value sort of thing. His grandparents taught him a lot. His uncle taught him a lot. Bill and Patty, his parents, obviously played a huge role, and he's very, very value-based. Everybody that you talk to that played with Kevin or coached Kevin will tell you exactly the same thing. Just a great kid, very, very grounded, never got full of himself, always works hard and wants more and more and more.
NPH Scouting Service.
Quick inbounds. Quick two. Somachi and Bapu. Ooh. Leroy Adderley had a wide open Filip Milosevic. Waited just a little too long, then threw it over him. 2 minutes gone here in the final quarter. Neath. Ooh, right to left, back to the right. Rahimzad, nice bounce pass to Adderley. Man, when the Panthers have it going, you can tell they're probably a very solid practice team. You know, like just the passes are crisp when they are.
Now they're going to need to make a push right now.
Well, we've been waiting for it all game, right? We've seen it just a little bit, cut it down. but haven't been able to kind of get over that hump.
They got to take advantage of Franco Miller not being on the floor. And just as I say that, he walks over to the scores table. Good help, way to close up and sandwich on Kobe Antwi.
Peter Lee looking. Rahimzad loses it. Crestwood gets it back. Franco Miller back into the game for Crestwood.
Motion.
Javon Thomas, Neath into the corner. Miller down low. Agbapu, no good. Adderley, who always just seems to come in the second half. Got to be tough for a guy seeing his first minutes in the fourth. A little cold. Always got to be ready though. It seems like Jacoby Neath is born ready. Continuing to add to his game high point totals.
It's got to be hovering somewhere around 30 by now.
An effortless 30. Rahimzad.
Sweet stroke on that.
You really see, but then you realize how young this kid is. And he could be a huge part to this program for the next year or two. He's just been in Canada for about a month and a half now.
Yeah.
I mean, even when we see him at nationals, this guy could be one of the most improved players as the season goes on.
Yeah, and like you said, he's got some valuable experience playing with the national team, the Iranian national team. It definitely helps his case.
Shout out Mustafa Goes providing energy from the bench over there. First guy up. So happy to see his teammates succeed. Jacoby Neath with the silencer. Timeout. Click, click, boom, timeout. Doug Dowell wants to have a chat.
Everyone has their story. What's yours? Were you born with the ball in your hands? Or were you a late bloomer? Are you a dead-eye shooter? Or a high flyer?
Throws up an alley-oop! All elbow! Williams!
Are you a leader? Or an elite role player? North Pole Hoops wants to know, what's your story?
Yet again, a 10-point advantage restored for Team Blue. Oh! It's Judy Charges throwing it down!
Welcome to the NPH live broadcasting experience. Allow our team of video technicians to capture your event in high definition. Streaming directly on all NPH media platforms. Up-to-the-minute live game coverage featuring professional commentators and analysts.
Tip in! No good! 2 seconds to go! Oh!
Commercial spots available to promote and market your brand, event, or product. Enjoy the ultimate way to catch the game.
Let's keep it going. Keep the intensity high.
Get your feet square. Get your feet square. Take it home, write it down, grab a homie, and work on it. Work on it, master it.
AJ Lawson, go! He gets it to go! Wow! Pick it up, Jalen.
Oh my God!
Top 10.
Hey!
Don't worry, folks, you just missed a couple of traded baskets. 16-point lead. The game really hanging in the balance right now. Is Crestwood going to put it away, or the Panthers going to finally be able to make that push to get themselves over the hump?
Emery coming off cold off the bench, no legs in that one. Hits front rim.
Right in front of us. You see what these players see when Crestwood comes at you with the double team. So much length, so much weight these guys have.
Superb lead pass. Credit on the finish as well.
Absolutely. Taking it into the trees, coming out with some lumber. Rahimzad into the corner. Adderley. Here we go. Franco Miller ahead. Watch out on the wing. Up top. Just a little, yeah, just a little off point.
In those situations in transition, you want to force the one man that's defending the both of you to pick a side, and then you can throw the lob.
I think he was throwing the lob no matter what, right? That's what it looked like. Panthers finally drawing a charge. .348 to go, 16-point lead. A reminder, Crestwood has another game tonight, taking on the defending national champions, our host team here in Ottawa, Canada Top Flight Academy, after this game.
By the way, they seem to me to be even stronger than last year.
Becoming the model franchise for our National Preparatory Association, the blueprint being laid out by Tony House. At 12:15 coming up after this game, London Basketball Academy taking on the Notre Dame Hounds. That is both a tasty matchup and some great individual storylines that you're going to want to watch. Tell your friends, if you're looking for players that maybe you haven't heard of yet, you want to tune into that game because you're going to have an introduction to some names that are going to start exploding on the scene.
Again. Be up again.
Not wrong in saying that?
No.
I didn't want to use the name Sleeper.
Yeah, it's kind of getting overused.
Amir Hossein Rahimzad is a guy that I can't wait to see a couple of months from now. Cashing in from the downtown district, an 11-point lead. The Panthers always seem to be up against the clock. And once again, under 3 to go, down 11. They need a lot of things to go their way.
Force it back to the middle. Sammy, you got to cheat over. Here you got to watch this side.
Little issue with the shot clock here. Referees are ironing it out. $12 to go on the shot clock here for Crestwood.
Thomas. Oh, this could be the little opening that the Panthers need. They need a big shot right now. Sammy Hunter hands it off to Lee.
Hey, we're in blue. We're not in help.
Lee loses it. Back the other way to the trailer. Some nice defense there from the Panthers, team defense. Rahimzad.
So that play doesn't count then. Whistle was blown.
Got a tech on the bench. Crestwood picking up the tee. The refs coming together to figure out what the live ball situation. Don't believe there was a basket there. At the line, Obad shooting the freebie. Hits the first. Leads down to 10.
Don't let him flash, Kobe. Kobe, don't let him flash.
Sammy Hunter asking someone to go into the backcourt. Stepping out of bounds. Panthers just really can't catch a break.
They just keep hurting themselves. It's not even a forced turnover in these situations.
I think I used the saying, shoot themselves in the foot earlier in the game and bringing it back out now. And that's an over and back that went, that was close. Crestwood could put it away with a big time shot here. And Thomas has had himself a good game. Found Kobe Antwi for 2. Now Peter Lee has Thomas all over him. Rahimzad trying to work a 2-man game, takes it himself. Nice drop off. Basket in the bump. Obad. Again. BC just running out of time right now.
Franco, Kobe Antwi, Trey. I need 10.
Obad at the line, looking for the 3-point play to bring it back to single digits. Obad has been pure from the line when his team needs him. A little full court press by the Panthers. Let's see how this works out for him. Crestwood breaks it. Fisher onto the wing. Antwi invites the contact, gets the whistle. Looking to push this back to double digits and finally put this one out of reach for the Panthers, who have stuck around, but just run out of time, I think.
.130 left on the clock. BC Christian will likely look to make something from the perimeter here. And the pressure's on from Crestwood. They're not going to let them have any quick buckets.
Franco Miller called in the foul. Harry Ogaminor checks back in with 1:15 to go.
Hey, watch the screen, watch the screen. Watch the screens, talk the screens. Guys, deny. Trey, deny. Elijah, watch the screens. Watch the screens, Elijah.
Rahimzad comes down with it. Loses it, but Sammy Hunter comes up with it. Poked out of bounds, just 3 on the shot clock.
You gotta leave your man, you gotta come up.
3 seconds,
deny,
Trey,
deny.
Trey, this is you.
Deny,
Antwi, look at the flash, Antwi!
Ogaminor has it blocked. Shot clock violation.
Hold on, don't need it. Don't need it. Yes, girl. Hey, on top. Don't let it in.
I got your help.
Antwi, Thomas. Everyone just sitting around kind of watching. Neath, Miller, Crestwood just trying to run this one out, but the Panthers are fighting to the end.
And that should do it.
Still 40 to go on the clock. Rahimzad comes away with it. Neath busting some ankles in the backcourt. Obad comes through with the foul. Timeout. Doug Dowell wants an opportunity to teach his kids something in some live game action. 14.5 to go. We'll be back. Battle in the Capitol. We finish up game 2. Get ready for game 3 on the day.
That man from Quebec can fly.
Exposure starts.
History has been made in Canadian basketball.
From the Maritimes to the nation's capital.
I just like the sound.
Brady Cancun, my goodness.
To the 6.
Oh, big block there.
To the prairies.
By Jashawn Henry.
All the way to British Columbia. This is the NPA.
One hand jam! All over the defense! My lord! Goodness gracious! Campbell with the facial. Oh! E-man! Defense to offense.
Cummins, that is
No
not
way.
the guy.
No way!
Cummins.
What's the foul? Got the answer. Wow! That's another good one. There it is! Sammy Hunter.
14 and a half on the clock here. This one's out of reach, but head coach Doug Dowell just wanted to draw something up to see if they can defend as needed. And also wanted to see what they could do in transition. Good play call, execution was lacking. Raheemzad, I don't think, wanted to pick up the foul. 2.3 on the clock as we run things out here. Stay with us. Tell your friends to tune in as we have London Basketball Academy, who lost in the national championship game last year, taking on the Notre Dame Hounds, one of the favorites to be in the national championship game this year. The first time these two teams will meet. It's coming up next, live on NorthPoleHoops.com. The battle in the capital continues after a short break.